everybody, welcome to I guess let's go with Smooth RC. Works. Still snow on the ground, but the lake is clear. There's no ice, no wind. Seems like a damn good time to me to break this thing out. I haven't had it out since the fall, so figured get her out, go through a little maintenance, you know, grease up the prop and the shaft and all that stuff inside, you know, see if I can get a good run out of it, and yeah, break her in for the year. It's really hard to get the scale of this thing. This is a Pro Boat Sonicwake 36, and they don't call it a 36 for nothing. It's 36 inches long, and it's definitely the biggest one of the boats that I have. I have two smaller ones that are more or less for smaller ponds, small rivers. I mean, really even a big pool if you wanted to. You know, they ain't nothing but 10, 12 inch long boats, and they're still fun and everything. They self-right and all that stuff if you crash or whatever, but this is a whole other ball of wax, as they say. And knowing me, I can't just leave it alone. I gotta mess with it and do stuff and upgrade it. So I guess one of the first things right off the bat, once I get this top shell off, these wires aren't normally hanging like this. They go to a switch that I put here, and the switch goes to a pump, so it has full-time water cooling. Normally when these go through the water, they pick up water, you know, right through here, the rudder. There's a little pickup hole right here. That way, as long as you're moving forward, it's pushing water through here, this hose, which goes through the jacket and the ESC and cools everything off. Well, these things, they're pretty common to get pretty damn hot inside, especially with the cover on them, because they're airtight. Airtight, watertight, same, you know, same thing as far as that's concerned. Out on the water, they get hot. So yeah, I installed this pump. I don't know if you can see that right here. So that's a full-time pump that it doesn't matter. I turn that switch on and I don't have to be moving. So if I want to take a hot 2 laps, you know, I mean, she warms up, and I can just take it easy for, you know, a couple minutes, and it will cool everything off, and I really don't have to be moving very fast. So I'm not exerting, you know, not wasting my battery, not cooling, you know, not wasting everything to cool everything off and keep it cool, because otherwise it's ridiculous. These things are known to get really warm, especially with the bigger batteries, more weight. I've upgraded the servo. The pickup is new. Obviously the pump is new. And today, when I take it out for this year's maiden voyage, I think it was a GoPro mount. I'm gonna give that a shot. I'm a little hesitant to take my GoPro 10 out on the water, and hopefully I don't crash, but this one does self-right too. The only problem I see with that is the GoPro is top heavy, and hopefully if I do crash, it will still upright itself. Otherwise, I really don't want to go in the water today. Sure, sun's out, looks nice, but it's like 35 degrees or something. It's ridiculous. It's way too cold. So yeah, let's get into it. Two 10 mil nuts on this little coupler. Okay, just like that. Out comes the flex shaft. Get a bunch of that old grease off there. I use just standard marine grease. Definitely got to have this thing greased up good, because she's spinning and whipping, and believe it or not, when this thing gets spinning, the flex shaft will actually expand and contract by how fast the prop is spinning. So you can't just shove it all the way in there tight, because if you hit the gas, this thing will pull in and you'll snap the shaft right off, and then you're dead in the water. obviously. So it's really important, you know, to keep this clean, free of debris, and keep it greased up or whatever. So you can stay on the water longer. This is definitely the easiest way to do this that I found. And I always like to leave it back a good 3/4 of an inch from the end, because I don't want to shove that into the coupler where I got to cinch it down. I don't need grease in there, anything to, you know, compromise that being grabbed on. It don't take a lot because it's a pretty tight fit. So anything you put on there is more than enough. Usually it don't take much. And then put it back in there, and I like to spin it back and forth as I go. And obviously it's oozing out the back. Just the way it is. I like to get it right down to the end, and I'll actually push it all the way in, and then just pull it back just maybe 1/8 of an inch, and then wipe off the excess. So there, I have just a tiny gap there. That way it's got plenty of flex. If it wants to expand and contract, it's got room to move. And then tighten the coupler back up onto the motor shaft, and then that part's done. That's something I always like to do after every run. Pull the shaft back out, dry it off. I'm not too worried about rust or anything like that in there. I'm not really sure what the metal is made out of, but it should be pretty rust resistant since it's made to get, you know, a little wet. But it's just good to clean everything off, dry it real good, you know, re-grease everything, shove it back in there, and then you're good till next time. The only reason I'm doing this now is because I really can't remember. I'm sure I did it last fall when I put it away, but I really can't remember if I did or not. So this is just one of those maintenance things that I'm just gonna do. Okay. I gotta say, I'm not thrilled about the idea of drilling holes in the top of this canopy, but there's no way in hell I'm relying on just self-adhesive double-sided tape out in the middle of the lake with my GoPro. Ever hear the expression, God hates a coward? Alright, here it is. Got the mount secured pretty good. Actually got 4 bolts through it, and I even put silicone underneath it just to make sure if there's any water. I don't want anything getting dripping in there. But I think it's time to put the batteries in. Couple Velcro straps for these 2 big batteries. Get them as tight as possible. I don't need that moving around because it can actually slide forward and back. If I move it more toward the front, it's more of a stable boat, but it's slower. More weight toward the back, puts more weight on the back end, brings the front up. It's a lot faster, but a little more sporadic. But obviously me, I run it all the way back. Switch is on. There we go. Looks good. And this little pigtail here, which goes right to the pump motor, plugs in here. The switch for the pump has got a blue light on it, so I know if it's on or not, and it feels like it's trying to pump, so we should be good.
Probably some local fisherman out for a pleasure cruise at night through eel-infested waters.
To your left! 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 Hurry up! Move the thing! And that other thing! Move it!
Probably gonna take it easy for the first couple. Here's a good shot. You can see my pump constantly pumping water out.
Just sit right back and you hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough, the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of a fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost. The ship set ground on the shore of this uncharted desert isle, with Gilligan, the skipper too, a millionaire and his wife, a movie star, the professor and Mary Ann. Here
Throws up a pretty sweet rooster tail.
so this is the tale of our castaways. Been here for a long, long time. They'll have to make the best of things. It's an uphill climb. But first mate and his skipper too will do their very best to make the others comfortable in the tropic island nest.
No phone! No lights!
No motor car, not a single luxury. Like Robinson Crusoe, it's primitive as can be. So join us here each week, my friends. You're sure to get a smile from 7 stranded castaways here on Gilligan's Isle.
All right, take a peek inside real quick. I don't see any water. I'll throw this GoPro on here and see what happens. On a side note here, me and my brother put the kayaks out here this last fall. Got a couple nice pike, a couple nice bass. Actually, he caught a killer bass. Might throw that picture on here. All right, buddy. That looks good to me. Please come back. Pump is on, the GoPro's on, remote's on. We'll try her out. Good job. You came home. And I didn't have to go swimming. All right, I'm calling that a successful trial run. Nice maiden voyage with the camera. And I will definitely do this again. Time to get home and get warm, because damn, it's cold. Might be more like 32 out here. Splashed myself a couple times with the rooster tail as I flew by. Really glad I didn't have to record a small video with my camera on my phone saying what happened to the lost footage.